For those who have seen them, China's massive glaciers located in the Himalayan mountains are breathtaking structures, appreciated by scientists, geographers, climbers and tourists from all over the world. The seemingly indestructible glaciers, however, may be in trouble due to rising temperatures and global warming. To understand this, first we must understand the change occurring in the atmosphere, global warming. The term global warming is often used incorrectly and refers to the enhanced greenhouse effect taking place due to increased levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Our atmosphere naturally has 0.4% carbon dioxide, alongside 78% nitrogen, 20% oxygen and 1.96% other less common gases, such as ozone, water vapour and methane. Carbon dioxide, methane and water vapour, the greenhouse gases, trap long-wave radiation emitted by the sun, while the shorter-wave radiation is reflected by the Earth's surface. This process, the greenhouse effect, also occurs in cars, and namely greenhouses, due to the glass windows. Human industrial activity on Earth has resulted in increased proportions of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and consequently an enhanced greenhouse effect. Rising temperatures have caused environmental problems such as melting ice caps and ecosystem imbalances. Global warming skeptics argue that the increase in average temperature on Earth is a natural change in climate. These graphs, however, prove a clear link between increased atmospheric carbon dioxide since the Industrial Revolution and temperature increase on Earth. Despite the seemingly obvious nature of the harm to our planet, many still fail to take action towards environmental restoration. Published in 2013, Melbourne's The Age addresses this with their 10 reasons to start worrying now, claiming that evidence of global warming is right in front of us and now is the time to start noticing. China's growing populace of 1.4 billion rely heavily on the Yellow and Yangtze rivers for drinking water and agriculture. The Tibet-Qinghai Plateau, located 4,000 metres above sea level, contains thousands of glaciers, the seasonal runoff of which feeds these rivers and sustains the surrounding parts of China. The Age, however, tells us that this may not be the case forever. Environmental scientists, including Chinese glaciologist Tao Tengdong, have major concerns for the future of these glaciers. Particularly the Jiangsu-Diru Glacier in the western province of Qinghai is now shrinking at an average of 20 metres every year, the most rapid rate ever recorded for this glacier since 2010. Heightened atmospheric temperatures are causing the bodies of ice to gradually thaw, creating growing glacial lakes in place of the retreating ice. Temporarily, this will provide relief to the mountainous and downstream communities as accessible water becomes greater. However, in the long term, the disappearance of China's glaciers will cause mass famine and devastation due to lack of water in the major rivers. Rapid shrinking of glaciers has caused frequent natural disasters on the plateau, including glacial lake floods and debris. Glaciers in China may diminish to as little as 30 to 50% of their current size by 2100. The damage of glaciers is not unique to China. Glacial retreating has been recorded in all of the Himalayan mountains, Antarctica, Northern Europe and the Arctic, and has contributed to rising sea levels at 10 to 20 centimetres in the past 100 years. Global warming skeptics such as Andrew Bolton in his article Contradicting the Age, It's a Load of Hot Air, claim that recent glacier activity is natural and contrastingly a percent of glaciers are actually growing. This, however, is in fact supporting evidence for global warming. As glaciers are formed by compacted snowfall, increased precipitation as a result of warmer temperatures causes glaciers in some conditions to temporarily benefit from global warming. These graphs illustrate the rapid undocumented shrinking of glaciers in the last 100 years and the percentage of shrinking versus growing glaciers globally to support this. Even the most advanced technology is not able to replenish the Himalayan glaciers to their former size. China and the rest of the world must instead make a conscious effort to prevent and plan for future environmental damage. The Chinese government has already promised to reduce national carbon emissions by 40% by 2020, reducing further enhancement of the greenhouse effect and slowing the depletion of glaciers. Despite these efforts, existing damage to glaciers in the Tibet-Qinghai Plateau has already taken effect in surrounding communities. In order to address this, adaptation of Chinese agricultural methods may be necessary in the future. Currently, there is no policy to conserve water resources in agriculture. Although each have very different conditions, a case study into Nigeria's agricultural adaptation driven by global warming related drought shows that focus on soil fertility and erosion prevention significantly increase natural resource sustainability. Applied to agricultural hotspots relying on the Yellow and Yangtze rivers, these methods promise agricultural ability in spite of depleting resources. In practice, however, this may prove difficult as China is currently subject to rapid urbanization and growth, making agricultural output needs ever increasing. The detrimental effects of global warming are not exclusive to China, and efforts for a sustainable future are in place globally. In Australia alone, a $110 million budget has been allotted to research into solar energy to replace the burning of fossil fuels in households. Renewable energy sources including solar, wind and hydropowered energy have great potential to be successful in Australia because of our unharnessed natural sun, wind and waves. Unlike burning fossil fuels, renewable energy does not emit any byproducts or waste during use, preventing further damage to atmospheric imbalance and the enhanced greenhouse effect. Food production in China is an ongoing problem and the glacial melting is predicted to only worsen this. Food shortages can cause extreme damage to a country's economy, further harming food security. Lester R. Brown in his article for Earth Policy Institute quotes, "The world has never faced such a predictably massive threat to food production as that posed by the melting glaciers of Asia." The Yellow and Yangtze rivers currently support 147 million and 369 million people respectively, and are both fed by glacial runoff. Without irrigation from these rivers, China's agricultural potential will shrink more than half. Production in the dry season may not be possible at all. A food shortage as massive as this will cause economic distress in China. As seen in Venezuela, in response to a major food shortage, the government brought in extreme policies limiting exports and domestic business in an attempt to contain food circulation within the country. This, however, only causes the businesses to fail and the economy to collapse. Massive fall in economy led to rampant inflation and desperate Venezuelans rioting. A similar outcome to food shortage occurred in Zimbabwe and Ethiopia. Rapid changes in China due to global warming have not only caused change environmentally but also among the people politically. Global warming has become a major issue on the political agenda at all levels of leadership. China, as an industrious nation, is estimated to be responsible for 10% of greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. Recently, however, they have responded to this with a push for some of the most progressive environmental policies globally. Unlike many others, China's government has accepted their role in glacial melting and has begun to take action. A promise for a reduce in gas emissions and increased use of non-fossil fuel-based energy are the major policies China has put in place, aiming to achieve their goals by 2020. Environmental distress has caused widespread political unrest as citizens look to their leaders to make change. Although China has succeeded in this, many other countries have not, and debate continues.